It was a quiet afternoon when Karen, my neighbor, decided to take matters into her own hands once again. She had a knack for overstepping boundaries, and this time it was no different. I had recently noticed her sneaking around my property looking for something to do with my old shed at the back of the yard. At first, I thought nothing of it. She was always trying to improve things in her own way, no matter how misguided. But that afternoon, I caught her installing a Wi-Fi extender inside my shed without asking or even notifying me. Now, I don't have anything against Wi-Fi extenders, in fact. I use one myself to ensure that the signal reaches every corner of my house, but this felt different. The shed was my space, my private area, and Karen was invading it without permission after the initial shock of discovering what she was up to. I was filled with a sense of annoyance. She had no right to be doing this, and the nerve of her was almost impressive. I stood there for a moment, weighing my options. I could simply confront her, but I knew she would just make up an excuse or act innocent as usual. And then it came to me, a little prank just to teach her a lesson. I wasn't about to let her mess with my property without some kind of payback. I had a few wasp nests in the back of the yard, not enough to cause any harm, but certainly enough to make a point. I carefully collected some of them, along with a few wasps that were nearby, and sneaked them into the shed. I made sure to place them in corners where they wouldn't be immediately visible, but close enough that they could make their presence known the next day. Karen returned to check on her Wi-Fi extender, likely expecting everything to be running smoothly, but as soon as she opened the door, she was greeted by the angry buzz of the wasps. I watched from a distance as she shrieked and flailed around, trying to escape the swarm. It didn't take long before she was running back to her house, a look of terror on her face. I felt a wave of satisfaction, not out of malice, but because she had finally learned that there are consequences to invading other people's spaces. From that day on, Karen kept her distance, and I made sure to keep my shed and my boundaries well protected.